Hi, this is Melanie Likowski, creator of Mrs. L's Leveled Learning. I wanted to show you how to quickly go through this document, Latin and Greek word cells, and how to use all the parts that are included in here. So if you teach 4th through 8th grade, this will be particularly valuable to you because you will be teaching your students about prefixes, roots, suffixes in groups of words that are related together, with some game cards so that they're getting repeated practice every day and it really kind of sinks in. You'll also be getting some quizzes that go with each unit, and I'll show you how to use those. So when you open the document, there's going to be a zip file with 2 parts. You're going to have this part that includes all the directions, table of contents, word lists, and also the quiz pages, and I'll show you those in a minute. And then these documents that have the actual game cards. You're going to want to print these out, and if you need to save ink, you can just print one side. The word card side, they're still color coded, so you can easily keep word groups together because there's 13 units to keep track of. So print all the word cards or print them front to back and you'll have the names on them. And this will give you the word cells to play the practice game. Now here's how the practice game works. In each unit, there's a list of words with related word cells, prefixes, or roots, primarily. And the students will practice by playing a game called Who Has. These get divided into cards and you pass them out to your students. Who has a word cell meaning 10? First card. So whoever has this card will read it out loud. The other kids will check the cards that they have, which were randomly assigned, and figure out who's next. I have Decca, Decca. Who has a word cell meaning 2? And it continues from there. Then the next student finds their word card. I used to have my students go to the front of the room on a projector and set the cards down for the whole class to see, so everybody got the practice of seeing and hearing and saying the word. You can do it however you want to if it's quicker to just move through the students, but I would play this game at the beginning of class every day for a week or 2 to make sure they got enough repetition to really get them memorized, because they'll be reading them themselves, hearing it, saying it, and every day you randomly assign the cards, a different student gets a different one, which means their mind has to stay engaged all the time to practice the same words. So you would think it would get boring, but every day it's different for them. That keeps them engaged a little better. Plus, as they get better and better at the game, it will go faster and faster, which is great for you because you can teach them how to do it on their own, and then you have a few minutes to kind of get your other things ready or your next thing ready. In the major document, it has the directions of how to play this game. It tells you what to prepare ahead, which is basically cutting out the word cards and maybe printing the word lists. There's 2 kinds of word lists: ABC order and game order. Game order is your answer sheet because it will show you for each unit the game order list. I'll go back to that poster in a minute. Numbers 2. This is in the freebie. You will get the game order word list with the answers. Decca 10, by 2, uni 1. If you remember when we looked at this first card deck, that was the order of the answers. So you don't have to worry about knowing all these. They're going to be right here listed for you. This is the complete sequence of word cards from first card to last card. For the students, to make the game go faster, I either put this on the computer screen on the smartboard, or you can print it and hang it up somewhere they're going to see it. This is the ABC order of words and word cells, which could be prefixes or suffixes or roots. This is kind of a quick cheat sheet for students if they don't remember or they don't know these words yet. They can kind of look around and start to recognize some of the word parts, and it helps them guess faster or figure it out faster. I usually allow them to talk with a partner to figure out if they had the right word or not, and that can really help. The quizzes go with this, and I would give them quizzes maybe after a week or 2 of practicing the words, and there's many other ways you can practice. I have some other products called vocabulary menus that give students options for practicing rote things like memorizing vocab, and that is part of the ELA bundle as well. But you might have your own routines for practicing words outside of the class. The quiz word list is something that you can plug into an editable quiz template. And I made these editable because the questions in the quiz will be the same every time using different words. And the reason I created it that way is because if you look at the standards for Language 4, it's almost exactly the same for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So you'll have the same word lists and the same word cards. You're working on the same skills, and those skills start with context clues to figure out the meaning of words, using the roots to figure out the meaning of words. So you're going to see in the quiz, there's words in sentences, context, and words where they take apart, circling, underlining, prefixes, suffixes, and roots. And then using reference materials to find pronunciation, to find definitions, to clarify the parts of speech. So all these elements of the Language 4 standard for every grade level are in the same outline of the quiz. This is just an outline of the quiz skills and how you put your words in there. This is the preview document, but the full document will have editable form fields that should pop up automatically. You can always go to Tools, Prepare Form, and that's how you get the editable form fields to pop up. So if you go back to that list with all the quiz words, I basically tell you what to plug in there. You would copy this, plug it in there. Here's your answers. The student answers are in red, so it's all kind of on one page for you to use. And again, I used a quiz template instead of printing out multiple pages, because you may not get to every quiz. You might only do a couple different units, and you also have the ability to change the words that you use here with the editable quiz template, which will help you practice all the different skills. So this format of having the word lists in ABC order, in game order, and the quizzes will be the same for every single unit in the large full product. And here's all the units in the full product. So you'll have a lot to choose from. If you teach math, the measurement one is great too. You can use it in your math or science classes and kind of reinforce some of those words. But most people are just going to be using this for ELA. This poster I included because it's a really helpful cheat sheet for kids to understand prefix, root, and suffix and how they're different. There's a tendency when they're first learning to just circle the first word part and call it a prefix. Sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you have a root and a suffix. So it's important for them to understand what they do and what they mean. Prefix is usually a word modifier, like an adjective or an adverb. Tripod, propose. So before has to be describing before something. 3 has to be describing 3 of something. You wouldn't just have 3 and before. Tripod means 3 feet. Pod, feet, is a root because it's a very basic meaning, like a noun or a verb. The modifiers describe the nouns and the verbs. Before you put something, you place something before someone. 3 feet describes the feet. So you can see that relationship and kind of making the analogy of nouns, verbs, adverbs, and adjectives. My kids always understood that pretty well, and it made it a little more clear to them to identify what was really a root word and what was really a prefix meaning. Suffixes often change tense, verb tense, or parts of speech. Here for proposed, proposing, past and present tense. Cynical changes a noun, cynic, to a person who has the characteristics of a cynic. So you're describing that person. And there again, kids can see that all those come on the end. Yes, they're suffixes. They're suffixes to something else that has the main word meaning, which goes back to the root word. In this case, you have a prefix, pro, a root, pos, and ed, suffix. Sometimes you just have a root and a suffix. So this helps kids understand the 3 parts and how to find the meaning based on how they're modifying the word. I hope this has been very helpful to you. Feel free to leave comments or ask questions inside my Facebook group.